Hello, everybody. Welcome into the Fantasy Pros Football Podcast. I'm Ryan Wormeli, joined, as I am every Friday morning, by Derek Brown and by Pat Fitzmaurice. We're talking our key questions for the Week 3 slate here. Quick reminder for everybody that all of our 2025 consensus rankings and tiers can be found at fantasypros.com/rankings. Debro, how are you doing on this Friday morning?
Doing good, buddy. I'm happily energized, man. The primer's out, and I can happily report that in many years, it's, the weekly battle with the primer feels insurmountable, but we get there, and I'm feeling fresh and spry 2 weeks in, man. I'm here for it.
It won't last, but that's good for now.
Yeah. Week 10, let's have the same conversation.
Yeah. Fitz, how are you doing? I know you're trying to get out of here and go golfing.
That's right. Unseasonably warm weather in Chicago. So yeah, I'm going to sneak in a little 9 holes at the course next door. The writing is to bed for the week. I'm sure I'm going to be spending a lot of time on Discord later today answering questions. Got to make those injury updates, but yeah, love having the writing done for the week, and I am ready for Week 3.
I won't be golfing, but it is unseasonably warm here in Colorado too. It's like 60 right now, but by the time we get to the afternoon, it's going to be in the mid 80s, which feels weird for mid-September. But it is very sunny here, so that makes some degree of sense. Yeah, I know. Debro is really feeling the empathy for us with our
still cooking in Texas.
Come talk to me with my mid 90s and high 90s. Yeah, let's have a conversation.
I could not have less interest in that. Let's jump into the slate here because we're still in the time of year when we have every team playing, no bye weeks, so a lot to get through. We'll start with game number 1, Falcons at Panthers. And I kind of struggled to put together a question for this because I think generally we kind of have an idea of where the ball is going in for both of these teams for the most part. So I wanted to ask you just about 2 players in general. Who has a higher positional finish this week? Tetairoa McMillan at wide receiver or Kyle Pitts at tight end? Obviously, we think McMillan is the better player, but there's more wide receivers that you're competing with. So I think this could end up being like a number that are close to each other, their respective finishes. So Fitz, I'll start with you. Kyle Pitts at tight end or Tet McMillan at wide receiver? Who finishes higher?
I'll say Kyle Pitts because I think he has better odds of a top 10 finish than Tetairoa McMillan does. Not that I'm down on McMillan. I have him ranked wide receiver 16 this week. He's been as good as advertised, 11 catches for 168 yards so far. But his matchup against the Falcons, the Falcons have a sneaky good pass defense, and I know we're not used to saying that. Atlanta never has a pass rush, but last week they sacked J.J. McCarthy 6 times. They quietly rank number 2 in DVOA and pass defense behind only the Green Bay Packers. So Pitts, on the other hand, real nice matchup. Panthers gave up the most fantasy points to tight ends last season. They gave up 65 yards and a touchdown to the Brenton Strange Hunter Long combination in week 1. And Trey McBride had 6 catches for 98 yards against them last week. Pitts already has 11 catches, as many as Tetairoa McMillan. So hasn't done as much with them, but I do think he's a top 10 tight end this week.
What do you think, Debro? I mean, even before you get into Tetairoa McMillan, do you also have Kyle Pitts as a top 10 tight end?
I do. I have him at tight end 10. I think he's an incredibly strong play. And this isn't just talking about the tight end position, but Pitts was the easy answer here for me too.
Okay.
I think the other thing that I've been not shocked, but very happily surprised by is that Kyle Pitts has been a full-time player in the Atlanta offense, considering what we saw last year to close the season. You're talking about a 50% snap share player. And him playing a full-time role, he's been extremely involved. The coverage matchup is also Fitz also laid out that Carolina has been bad versus tight ends, but the coverage matchup is fantastic for Pitts. You want to start Kyle Pitts, and I talked about this in the primer last week and this week, versus single high teams. Carolina Panthers are running single high at 56.5% of the defensive snaps versus single high this year. And these numbers go back to even last year. This is where Pitts eats, man. This year, he has a 28.6% target share, 1.9 yards per route run, and a 25% first read share versus single high. Yeah, Kyle Pitts week. Saddle up. Let's go.
What do you expect out of McMillan, Debro? Fitz said he had him wide receiver 16. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, I've got him at wide receiver 16. I think, and Fitz laid it out perfectly. The only thing I'll add with the projection of Tetairoa McMillan, I don't think A.J. Terrell plays this week. He's dealing with, I believe, a hamstring injury. So that definitively does bump up Tetairoa McMillan for me this week if Terrell is out.
I think you guys are probably making the right pick here in Pitts, especially like I said, with their fewer tight ends to be competing with for a positional finish. But I kind of like I just have liked so much what I've seen out of McMillan so far. Like obviously coming off this 100-yard game, like once he starts catching touchdowns, I'm kind of just like ready for him to explode. And I don't know that it'll be this week or anything, but I as high as I was coming into the season, I feel like I'm even higher on McMillan. I just think he's so good.
I think honestly, there's more meat on the bone for Tet. Like his raw numbers look good, but if you look at his market share stuff, like he's not getting like a 28% target share. The fact that Bryce Young's passing so much is helping pad some of the stats. I think they should be featuring him even more in this passing offense, even than they're doing.
Yeah, I agree with that. Let's go to game number 2, Packers at Browns. I think we have a pretty good guess as to how this game is going to go for the Browns offense against, the way this Packers defense has looked so far. So let's focus on the other side. Cleveland has actually played good defense this year. They totally shut down the running game in Baltimore. Obviously, the Bengals usually start slow, but the defense did limit the Bengals in week 1 as well when Joe Burrow was still healthy. So while the Cleveland's had a really good defense this year, the Packers offense, maybe not on the same level as their defense, it's been a well-oiled machine so far. We now have some injury question marks there that weren't there when I created this question a couple of days ago earlier in the week. Fitz, I'll start with you just as the Packers fan. What do you expect out of the battle, specifically of the Packers offense against the Cleveland defense, especially now that there's this Tucker Kraft injury?
So before I answer this, real quick story. My daughter, the oldest of our 2 children, was born on a Sunday morning. And on the day she was born, the Packers played the Browns in Cleveland. It was Brett Favre versus Trent Dilfer. And lo and behold, Trent Dilfer won. He threw for 336 yards and 3 touchdowns. Browns tight end Steve Hayden had 104 yards and 2 touchdowns. Browns won 26-24. It was the first of their 6 wins that season. The Packers went on to have their worst season since the 1980s. They were 4-12. I didn't watch a minute of that Packers loss to the Browns. I was in a hospital room, and it's probably the only Packer game I've completely missed since I was in college. The reason I bring this up is that our daughter just turned 20 yesterday. Yes, I'm an
happy birthday!
Thank you. I'm an old man with a 20-year-old daughter, but I found it sort of interesting that right after her 20th birthday, the Packers are once again playing in Cleveland. So will this game go better for the Packers than the one in 2005 did? Man, I sure hope so. I do think this Green Bay defense is a little better than their 2005 defense was, but can this Packers offense move the ball and put up a lot of points against a pretty good Browns defense? I think it might be a struggle, honestly. Like Jordan Love is going to be without at least one of his pass catchers, possibly 2. Like Jaden Reed broke his clavicle last week, and tight end Tucker Kraft sustained some sort of knee injury in practice on Thursday. It's believed to be minor, but it's not clear whether he's going to play this week. So the Green Bay passing game could be down a few weapons, and Packers running back Josh Jacobs goes against a Cleveland defense that's giving up 2.1 yards per carry so far this season. So I think this could be a pretty low-scoring affair.
Debro, when you look at the Packers offense, do you think that, well, A, how do you think they're going to do against this defense? And B, do you think that, like, let's assume just for the sake of argument that Kraft doesn't play, or at the very least is limited. Do you think that opens a door with Kraft and Reed possibly not there for Golden to kind of finally take a step forward and get more of an opportunity?
I don't see the Golden breakout game. Like, he's not even a full-time player. They're not utilizing him in this offense. I do think that the Packers do, I'm not going to say roll in this one, but I think we're kind of selling their passing offense a little bit short. Like, I think the fact that they've been so run-heavy, and if I'm Matt LaFleur and I'm designing up the offensive game plan and how to attack this defense, we need to lean into the passing game. And we need to put more on the shoulders of Jordan Love, who, guys, he's quietly playing amazing football. Like, amongst all quarterbacks, he's 3rd in yards per attempt. He's 4th in passer rating. He's 5th in CPOE right now. The fact that what's holding down all of his counting stats is that he's 27th in dropbacks. This is the game and the matchup to ratchet up the passing volume. Yes, like, not having Tucker Kraft is not great, but they still have Luke Musgrave, okay? And he's healthy right now from all reports. So they can get production out of the tight end position. But even the wide receivers, you still got Dontavian Wicks, you still got Romeo Doubs, you still have other guys on that depth chart that are incredibly talented and can beat single high coverage, which is what you need to do. So Cleveland, like, their run defense has been amazing. Their pass defense quietly hasn't been awesome. Like, they've allowed the 2nd most passing touchdowns and the 4th highest passer rating. So while I'm worried about Josh Jacobs, like, can he get there on volume and touchdowns? Absolutely. Sure can. But if I'm LaFleur, you lean into the passing game, dude. Like, you unleash Jordan Love, feed some more volume to this passing attack, and I think you have the weapons to sit here and have a really good game.
And just to be clear, we don't know for a fact as we record this that Tucker Kraft is out. They're
I kind of assume he's not gonna play. Like, with this getting announced
you would
late
think,
in the week,
you would think.
like they're being extremely like cloak and dagger. Like, oh, it's a tweak. It's his knee. It's not that bad, but no other kind of details, at least as of recording.
As we record this Friday morning, we just don't have full clarity yet.
Fitz, I think the last time I looked, the line was 8.5. Given your history with Packers, Browns, and daughter birthdays, would you take the Browns side of that?
The pool I'm in where I have to pick every game against the spread, I've taken the Packers. Just because I can't see the Browns offense really doing anything this week.
Yeah, I mean, despite the injury stuff and despite how well the Browns defense has played, it's just hard to believe coming off of it's only the first 2 weeks, but I mean, the Packers look like the best team in football through the first 2 weeks. The Browns maybe looked better than people had them, estimated to be this year, but they are still the Browns, and the offense still is quite bad.
Their offenses look bad.
Yeah. And when Flacco gets pressure, he commits turnovers.
Yeah, yep. I can't imagine the Browns, short of getting a lucky short field that helps them, I can't imagine them getting to double-digit points in this one, honestly.
You remember that we were living in that world of the end of draft season where everybody's posting the last 16 game splits of Joe Flacco and talking about he's better than people realize and blah, 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 blah.
There will be no Joe Flacco slander.
That went away really fast, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, he puts up yards, but
it's because they only freaking pass the ball. It's volume. Right. It's it. Ugly volume.
Today's show is brought to you by our new presenting sponsor, Hard Rock Bet. The Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook app is top rated with thousands of 5-star reviews, and it's easy to see why. If you've ever been to one of their hotels or casinos, you know they treat you right, and it's the same on their app. It's week 3, but if you haven't tried your first bet on Hard Rock Bet, there's still plenty of time for you to get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Just place a $5 bet, and if it hits, you get not only your winnings, but $150 in extra bonus bets. If you want to see what other people are betting on from now through this weekend, the Hard Rock Bet app shows you trending plays, the most bet player props, top picked upsets, and more. Just download the app and all this info is a tap away. Hard Rock Bet has new promos every day. This week there were profit boosts for 5 straight days of football that of course already started with Thursday Night Football last night, a Friday college profit boost, another profit boost for Saturday's college games, plus NFL profit boosts for Sunday's games and Monday night. Every Thursday on Hard Rock Bet, you also get legendary reward drops full of rewards like bonus bets, parlay insurance, and more. Open up your drop in time for this weekend's games and see what you get. Hard Rock Bet is the only legal sportsbook in the state of Florida and is also available in Arizona, Ohio, New Jersey, Indiana, Tennessee, Virginia, Illinois, and Colorado, with more states launching all the time. Head over to Hard Rock Bet, sign up, and make your first deposit today. All right, guys, next game here, Texans at Jaguars. A couple of disappointments on both teams so far this season. For fantasy, who is more likely to have a big day to make up for that slow start, Nico Collins or Brian Thomas Jr.? Debro, who are you picking?
I'm going to take Nico, but I'm going to be very transparent about this. I don't feel great about either one of these guys. This Jacksonville pass defense is much better than people, I think, thought it was going to be entering this season. CJ Stroud has continued to look pretty bad. And Brian Thomas Jr. is probably going to see shadow coverage from Derek Stingley. So I don't feel great about either one of these guys. I'll go with Nico, but again, you're running them out there, but my confidence level is not high for either one.
Where do you have them ranked respectively this week?
Dude, I still think they're going to get a ton of volume. So I've got Nico as a wide receiver 1. I've got Brian Thomas Jr. as a top 15 wide receiver, although I'm probably going to revisit the primer. I'm going to write him up, and I'm probably going to drop him in ranks a little bit. The vibes in Jacksonville are bad, and Derek Stingley is freaking awesome.
Nico's wide receiver 8 in the expert consensus rankings. Thomas is still wide receiver 11 in the expert consensus rankings. So they're both inside wide receiver 1 range. Fitz, who do you like better?
I also have Nico ranked higher. I'm 1 behind ECR on both guys. And like Debro, I think I might have BTJ ranked too high. I'm worried about that Stingley matchup. I'm less worried about Nico overall for the season, although I am kind of terrified that Houston offensive line just short circuits everything they're trying to do with the passing game. It's still really bad.
I want to throw just some like starter sit decisions your guys' way with these names that I didn't prep you for. So just kind of shooting from the hip here, but just names that are close to them in ECR. Would you rather start Debro, Nico Collins, or Zay Flowers?
Zay, not even close.
Same for you, Fitz?
No, I'm still starting Nico.
Okay. How about
It
Brian
is close, though.
Oh, go ahead. How about Brian Thomas Jr. or Devontae Adams, Fitz?
Adams. Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
That's okay. As of now, I've got BTJ ranked higher, but that might change.
The reason I didn't ask you, Debro, is because I knew your answer was going to be Devontae Adams. I didn't need to ask you that one.
He looks awesome.
Well, let me ask you this then, Debro, just quickly on Thomas, and we'll move on. Because I want to see kind of how far this potential drop for you will go. So some of the names after Adams in ECR: Mike Evans, Rome Odunze, Garrett Wilson, Ladd McConkey, AJ Brown. Are those all names you would consider over Brian Thomas Jr., or does he belong in that group?
I think AJ Brown is the one that stands out that people could be surprised about, but we'll get to it here in a little bit. I think AJ Brown's going to have a really big day.
Okay.
So I'll definitely take him. Him versus Mike Evans is a very interesting conversation because Mike Evans might get shadow coverage from Sauce. So both these guys may be going to see shadow coverage from two of the top corners in the NFL. Although Baker seems like he does not care and Egbuka's banged up, so he's probably still going to force the ball to him. So probably still take Evans.
I had a second question on this game, basically the same question, but just for the quarterbacks instead of the receivers. So who's more likely to have a big day, CJ Stroud or Trevor Lawrence, Debro?
Trevor Lawrence. I mean, so this kind of goes back to CJ Stroud has been struggling. Like right now, he is amongst 34 qualifying quarterbacks. He's 33rd in CPOE. He's 27th in highly accurate throw rate, and he's 28th in catchable target rate. Like, so they're doing a lot of bad things in Houston right now. Like, I think Nick Caley is honestly a terrible OC. Like, playing Xavier Hutchinson and Justin Watson over your two talented rookies is blasphemous. It's ignorance. But even just talking about how he's playing with the quarterback. The other thing about Trevor Lawrence, man, is this Houston pass defense is not playing up to the standard I think we all thought that we were going to see entering the season. Like, they're middle of the pack in almost everything that I'll look at. They've allowed the 12th highest passer rating, and their pass rush hasn't been good. And this is, I mean, the Buccaneers were trotting out like a ragtag makeshift offensive line that was banged up, injured, and still Texans are 22nd in pressure rate. I don't think anybody saw that coming. So I think it's actually going to be a better day for T-Law.
Fitz, who do you like better at quarterback?
Stroud. I still think the Texans are a tough matchup. They will crank up that pressure rate, Debro, with Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. Like, I'm not worried about that. And also, like, Stroud has been terrific against the Jaguars early in his career. In 4 career starts against Jacksonville, Stroud has averaged 292.8 passing yards with 7 touchdowns and no interceptions. Like, he owns the Jaguars, man.
Let's go to Bengals at Vikings. Battle of the backup quarterbacks. Which offense has a better day? Minnesota under Wentz or Cincinnati under Browning? Fitz, I'll start with you on this one.
I'm going to say Wentz. So US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis is just one of the hardest places to play in the league for visitors. And the Vikings just laid a complete egg at home last Sunday night, losing 22-6 to the Falcons. I doubt a team as well coached as Minnesota, with Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores, plays 2 really bad games in a row at home. And I suspect they're going to be breathing fire this week. Flores is going to dial up all sorts of blitzes against Jake Browning. We know that. And Browning's a good backup, but coming in cold and seeing that kind of pressure in a loud stadium where the blitzers are flying from unpredictable places, like I think it's going to be a tough day for the Bengals.
What do you think, Debro? You're based on your audible reaction. Maybe you disagree?
I just have a hard time believing in Carson Wentz. Like, I believe in KOC and I believe in Minnesota, but it's hard for me to get
I was going to say, is Carson Wentz any worse than pre-Minnesota Sam Darnold? I mean, it's a joke of a quarterback.
Dude, come on.
Or how about J.J. McCarthy the first 2 weeks?
No.
This is...
Dude... let's have an honest conversation. That Minnesota offensive line is not playing well.
Well,
you think Carson Wentz is gonna play well behind that offensive line?
Darrisaw
if Darrisaw is back, like, yeah, it's better, but they're still gonna be without their center. Their guards have played horribly. Like,
caveat: all bets are off for me on the Vikings offense being better if Darrisaw doesn't come back and they don't have him to help block Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, like I mean, like this is kind of for me. It's I don't have a lot of faith in Carson Wentz. Like the last two starting opportunities we've seen from him, like dude, he's had 5.7 yards per attempt, 6.7 yards per attempt. He's had highly accurate throw rates of 35% and 16%. Like that's terrible. So I mean, like if we want to put this all at the feet of Kevin O'Connell and saying, hey, QB whisper some nice things in his ear, like sure, like I'm here for that, but. I'm going to go Browning for this. And like, look, I'm not saying he's going to have an amazing day against Brian Flores in that defense. Like, I think it could be rough. But for Jake Browning, there's some Jameis Winston here, man. Like, we're going to get a lot of like passing volume. He's going to have a lot of like really head scratching plays, but he's also going to have a ton of volume. He's got two of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And we have seen, I mean, the last time we saw him as a starter, dude, like he was the QB7 in fantasy points per game. Like, so I'm going to lean on Jake Browning and the supporting cast. I think this is a really interesting conversation in the sense of you have two really good supporting casts, questionable offensive lines. It really comes down to who do you think supporting cast plays up better, like considering the quarterback play. I'm going to trust Cincinnati a little bit more than Carson Wentz.
Well, the other piece of the puzzle is the defense, which Fitz hit on. And a backup in Minnesota against Brian Flores, worries. Because remember, the question isn't like which quarterback scores more fantasy points. It's which offense has a better day.
Jordan Mason.
I was going to say, I think Jordan Mason
will
run on the Bengals. And
so if Jordan Mason has a monster day, then they're going to take the ball out of the hands of Carson Wentz and
to a degree,
trying to limit him. I mean,
sure.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
But the question is which offense has a better day, not...
No question. Yeah. I think it's in Kevin O'Connell's best interest to try to hide Carson Wentz as much as possible. And I think that means like 20 plus carries for Jordan Mason.
Yeah. It's less that I'm like really gung ho about the Minnesota offense in this one, and more that like I am nervous about Browning in this particular scenario where the game is being played, the defensive coordinator is going against. That just worries me more.
Yeah. Browning is going to get Van Ginkeled this weekend.
You can let Autopilot manage your fantasy football lineup automatically so you never have to worry about last-minute changes. Auto-swap inactive players and ensure your lineup is always optimized even when you can't be online. Take control with the flexibility to approve lineup changes via email or let Autopilot handle everything. Stay ahead with My Playbook Autopilot, available now for Fantasy Pros premium subscribers at fantasypros.com/myplaybook or on the Fantasy Pros app. Try premium for free right now by claiming your 3-day trial of Fantasy Pros Premium at fantasypros.com/premium. All right, guys, next game, Steelers at Patriots. The Steelers have allowed 30 plus points in both games this season. Debro, are they a defense to target when making lineup decisions?
Yeah, I mean, at this point, man, like I've had a hard time like reconciling how much talent they have on this side of the ball and how horrible they have played. Like it's been kind of shocking to see. Like, I mean, Joey Porter being hurt, I think definitely plays into this, but the run defense has been horrible. You still have Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay. They look like they can't tackle anybody. They can't stop anybody through the air. They can't stop any rushing attack. Like, yeah, this is one of the defenses. Like, if you were to ask me pre-week 1, what's the defense that I'm going to be scared to play or plug in players against in lineups against? I would have told you the Steelers would have been like a top 5 like name on that list of like, oh, I'm frightened about this. And after 2 weeks, I'm like, bro, just start everybody, I guess. Like they've forgotten how to play defense. Like, is this I mean, dude, I don't want to say this is the beginning of the end of Mike Tomlin, but I mean, come on, man. Like for a hard-nosed coach and stuff like that, and like this defense is playing as terribly as they are, it's tough to watch.
What do you think, Fitz?
The Steelers beat writer Mike DeFabo pointed out this week that the Steelers have the highest paid defense in the league by almost $24 million. Wolf. So fans in Pittsburgh have not been getting their money's worth so far. The Steelers have given up the 3rd most yards and the 4th most points. But I don't think the Steelers are a defense we're going to be picking on in fantasy. Like, they're banged up. Debro said it. Their best cornerback, Joey Porter Jr., the hamstring injury. Alex Highsmith, key linebacker, has a high ankle sprain. With no Highsmith, opponents can basically just run away from TJ Watt. And then, like, you got my other guy from Wisconsin, Nick Herbig, on the other side. Herbig is a banshee off the edge, but he's also kind of undersized, so you can run at him a little bit. And Steelers have been letting a lot of big pass plays go up the middle, especially. So, yeah, I mean, the Pittsburgh D has some issues right now, but I don't think it'll be this bad all year.
So you do think they'll kind of figure it out moving forward?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, like we're not going to be.
I hope so.
We're not going to be licking our chops like when we've got a running back going against the Steelers like in Week 10. That's just not going to happen.
Okay. I have a second question on this game. Really, I mean, I feel like we just kind of have to talk about Henderson. We all want Travion to be the man in this backfield, but Ramondre Stevenson had a much better Week 2 at the very least, and obviously has been getting like the usage. So, Debro, I'll ask you first. Where are you ranking the two Patriots running backs this week? Again, I'm kind of curious to see like what the gap is between them.
Ramondre is RB19 for me, and Travion is RB36. Okay. Ramondre owns the backfield, dude. Like he's at 65% of the snaps in back-to-back games. I don't see that changing. Like, do you think Mike Vrabel is going to take the ball out of his hands to put it into the rookie's hands, considering they've put up points? Ramondre has quietly been extremely good. Like, amongst 50 qualifying backs, this dude is 18th in explosive run rate and 14th in yards after contact per attempt. So I don't think this is the breakout Travion game. Maybe it is, and he breaks like a long run and stuff like that, but I don't think the backfield's going to like shift in his favor this week.
So Fitz, Debro is roughly in line with consensus on Travion Henderson. He is well ahead of consensus on Ramondre Stevenson by 10 spots. He's RB29. I mean,
he's RB19 in fantasy points per game, so I'm just putting respect on his name.
So what do you think, Fitz?
Yeah, Worm, you said we all want Travion Henderson to be the man in this backfield, and maybe my rankings this week are sort of a product of that wishful thinking. I've got Stevenson RB30 and Henderson RB31, and I know the workload split suggests that the gap should be bigger than that. Stevenson has outsnapped Henderson 85-44 this season. Stevenson didn't really do much in Week 1. Like 27 yards from scrimmage, I think, but he had 54 rushing yards, 88 receiving yards last week against the Dolphins. Henderson still has that enticing big play ability, but obviously the odds of breaking off a big play shrinks with a smaller snap count. And like what's weird is that Henderson's pass blocking has been an issue, even though he was regarded as maybe the best pass blocker among all this year's rookie running backs. But I guess what encourages me with Henderson is that he's already got 8 catches for 54 yards. Like, he's getting usage in the passing game. And for that reason, I think he's still playable this week, if not completely bankable.
All right, let's go to Rams at Eagles. For it being a game that's like a rematch of a playoff matchup, that was a really good game. Last postseason, I feel like this is kind of a boring. It's a boring game to think about in terms of like start-sit decisions, right? Like I think all of your lineup decisions are largely pretty straightforward on this. So I want to ask about the game from a betting angle. The spread is Eagles -3.5 on Hard Rock Bet. So I'm just curious which side you guys like. Fitz, I'll start with you. Eagles -3.5, and then the same thing on the total, which is 44.5. Are you going over or under? And then lastly, if there are any player props you like.
Yeah, the line and total both seem really spot on. So I'm not betting this game, but in that pool where I have to pick every game, I reluctantly took the Eagles to cover the 3.5. Only thing I really like for player props, and I actually don't know if I'm going to bet this, but I was looking at Tyler Higbee under 22.5 yards. Like the Eagles are just good against tight ends, and Higbee just does not strike me as any sort of, integral part of the game plan for the Rams.
I won't hold you to it as an official bet, but if you had to pick over or under the total, do you have a direction you'd go?
I'd go over. I mean,
if you had to.
McVay knows what he's doing, and I kind of think that the Eagles' offense is going to get on track pretty soon here.
Okay. Not an official bet recommendation from Fitz, but I'm forcing him to make
very
that decision.
Faint recommendation, yes.
So same 3 questions to you, D-Bro. Eagles -3.5 is the spread, totals 44.5, and then any player props you like.
I'm not touching the spread or the total. If I had to take one of them, I actually think the Rams are live to win this game. And I would bet the over on the total, but yeah, I mean, I think they're both really good lines and stuff. The player prop I want to mention here, man, like AJ Brown over 61.5 receiving yards at Hard Rock Bet. This is -115. I think AJ Brown is going to have an eruption game here, man. Like, you look at the coverage matchup, ton of single high. Like last year versus single high, this dude had a 36% target share, 3.9 yards per route run. I know that the box scores haven't lined up. You look at some of the deeper analytics, like week 1, it was very concerning. Dude, week 2, this guy was third amongst all wide receivers with at least like 10 routes. He was third in separation and first in route win rate. So the talent is still there. And them losing Ahkello Witherspoon last week was huge in this game. Like, tell me A.J. Brown is not going to moss freaking Emmanuel Forbes this week. Yeah. Like, Forbes has not been good in the secondary. This pushes Darius Williams into the starting lineup. I am confidently going to be firing up A.J. Brown and with some teams and betting the over for his receiving.
Think about, if that's the matchup, think about those two body types. A.J. Brown looks like he was chiseled out of granite.
He's gonna
and
punk
Emmanuel
him.
Forbes is like built like a pretzel.
Yeah. So AJB over receiving yards. Let's go.
If you want a chance to win a signed Jamar Chase Bengals jersey for free, courtesy of our friends at pristineauction.com, all you have to do is head to fantasypros.com/contest to complete the form and either download the Fantasy Pros app, leave a review for the podcast, or follow us on X, Instagram, or TikTok at Fantasy Pros. The more actions you complete, the more entries you receive. We will be announcing a winner right here on the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize. Next game here, Jets at Buccaneers. Fitz, with no Justin Fields in week 3, how are we ranking Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson?
I'm treating them the same way I would if Justin Fields were healthy. Like, Tyrod Taylor isn't bad. He came in cold last week, went 7 of 11 for 56 yards and a touchdown. Taylor put up respectable numbers when he had to make some starts for the Giants in 2023. Like, I know Taylor's ECR is like QB 29. I don't know, man. Against a pass funnel Buccaneers defense, like, I think he could have a decent game. So I've got Garrett Wilson, wide receiver 14, Breece Hall, RB 18.
What do you think, D-Bro?
I'm with Fitzy on this, man. Like, I've got Breece a little bit lower. Like, right now I've got him at RB 20. The matchup is pretty bad. Like, Tampa Bay's still stopping the run at a high rate. I mean, he's really going to have to get there in the pass game utility, but he's on more of this backfield. I'm not worried about Garrett Wilson at all, man. Like, what Fitzy talked about, like, Tyrod has played better, and I think he's going to play better than people are going to give him credit. I've got him at wide receiver 12, and the other thing about this Tampa Bay Buccaneers pass defense, they haven't been great, man. Like, they've allowed the 9th most passing yards, 7th highest yards per attempt, and the 9th highest success rate per dropback. I think Tyrod's going to put up some good numbers here, and I think Garrett's going to be perfectly fine.
Let's go to Colts at Titans. I'm really curious to see what you guys say about this one. Indy's offense is one of the kind of fun early surprises of the season. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you in this continuing, both asking the question for week 3 and then asking the same question, scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you in this continuing throughout the rest of the season? Because we have seen in the past, like the Saints are a good example last year, dropping 40 points each of the first 2 games, obviously completely fell off a cliff. So I'm curious kind of what you guys think, again, both about this week's matchup and the long-term outlook for the Colts offense. I'll start with you, Fitz, on this one.
So I'll give it a 6 for this week, but for the full season, I'm only going to give it a 2. Like, the reason I'm cautiously optimistic about Jones this week is that he has been getting great protection from his offensive line. So that unit is really clicking right now. He has had plenty of time to throw, and he has only been sacked twice, even though the Colts have faced a league-high 37 blitzes this year. So this is going to be his first road game. Maybe it's a little more challenging because of that, but the Titans aren't, a super imposing matchup. Long term, though, I'm very skeptical of Daniel Jones. I mean, the guy has 47 interceptions and 50 fumbles in 72 career games, 6.6 yards per attempt for his career. Like, he's capable of giving us a pleasantly surprising season like he did in 2022, but it's not going to be this good all year. It's just not. I mean, like he said, 3 touchdown runs in 2 games. Obviously, he's not going to run for 20-plus touchdowns this season.
Yeah, I would think not. Daniel Jones is ranked as a QB1 this week in the expert consensus rankings. D-Bro, what do you think about this matchup for the week and then beyond?
I've got like a 7, maybe an 8 for this week, just because I don't have any faith in the Tennessee defense. Devondre Sweat is banged up. L'Jarius Sneed's probably going to miss this game. That definitely helps Michael Pittman. I think Tyler Warren is going to be fine, so I think the Colts roll in this one. But the rest of the season, yeah, It is definitely reasonable to be skeptical of this team. I mean, look at the matchups. Daniel Jones is playing really good football, but they're not asking him to do a lot outside of like the system. You look at the upcoming matchups, like they get the Rams, the Raiders. I mean, you can have your way with the Raiders, but then they get the Cardinals, the Chargers, Titans, Steelers, Falcons, Chiefs. Like there's a lot of really good pass defenses in there. So maybe Daniel Jones turns back into a pumpkin. So probably like a 5 or 4. Confidence rest of the season. Maybe that's a little bit too generous.
For rest of season, what's your interest, Debro, in pass catchers on this team not named Tyler Warren? Do you have a favorite that stands out based on what you've seen the first couple of weeks, or are you just kind of avoiding all of them?
Pittman, because he's getting the target share and he's going to be used. Josh Downs isn't even a full-time player still in their offense. Now, with maybe that's injury, maybe that's Tyler Warren, maybe that's more, 2 tight end sets and what have you. But I think Pittman and Alec Pierce has been a ghost. I mean, he's honestly a bad archetype fit with Daniel Jones anyway. So yeah, it's Pittman and Tyler Warren and JT and the rest of them.
Pittman for you too, Fitz, if you had to pick one?
Oh yeah, the only one besides Warren.
Only one. All right. Let's go to Raiders at Commanders. I put together the sheet a little earlier this week, and it was still uncertain about Jaden Daniels, so I didn't really ask about that. It does appear as of this morning that it's trending towards him not playing. He's not on the practice field again Friday morning, so we would assume that he is not in this game, and it's Mariota. But the question I put together is on the Raiders side of things. This is now 2 inefficient, unproductive outings from Ashton Jeanty. I think we would mostly put the blame on the guys around him in the offense for, not blaming Jeanty himself as a player, but even if it's not entirely his fault, I am curious what your panic meter level is if you drafted him inside the top 15 picks this season, just from what we have seen from the offense around him, Debro.
I'm not panicking just yet. It's been 2 games. The offensive line has not played good at all. Like they have the 5th lowest yards before contact per attempt, like 0.49. He's not even getting a full yard in front of him of free space before he is hit. He's getting hit a ton in the backfield. I'm hoping the offensive line can play better. I mean, they're playing so bad right now. It's like, okay, well, if we're just hoping for just natural progression, they got nowhere to go but up from here. So I think, and the other thing is you look at the matchups, yeah, the Commanders this week, but the upcoming schedule does get lighter where I think we could see better days so if anything for Jeanty, this is buy low, not panic. They get the Bears, the Colts, and the Titans. All 3 of those teams in the upcoming schedule, you can run on all 3 of those teams. So we just need Pete to stop mixing in Dylan Lobby. What are we doing here? Come on. Dylan Lobby, Zamir White, no, just put more Jeanty out there. I get the pass pro stuff. Rookie's got to learn it, but can't learn it from sitting on the sideline.
Fitz, what's your level on the panic meter here?
Just a 3, and it's any panic I have is entirely related to the offensive line. It is bad that they're dead last in adjusted line yards as a run blocking metric. But it's only been 2 games, and one of those games was against a pretty good Chargers run defense. We're not at all unhappy about the usage, even with those annoying Zamir White and Dylan Lobby touches. 30 carries and 5 catches so far for Jeanty. I'll take that. So I don't think we should be too worried.
Debro,
Jeanty looks good. That's the other part about this.
Yeah.
If you're watching the games, he looks.
Yeah, it's not a reflection of him as a player.
No,
sure.
It's not.
Yep, he makes guys miss.
I asked this, Debro, on the Thursday Start Sit show, and the guys were split. Who would you rather start this week, Ashton Jeanty or Jordan Mason? Jake said Jeanty, and Fitz said Mason.
Mason. It's the matchup, and he's getting all the backfield. I'm not
Volume.
worried about Ty Chandler, freaking Cam Akers. It's Mason.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the late afternoon slate, Eastern time for Sunday. Broncos at Chargers. 2 really good defenses in this one. Pick 1 player on each offense that you expect to outperform expectations this week. Fitz, you can go first.
I like Courtland Sutton to bounce back from sort of a quiet game last week. 4 targets, just 1 catch, 6 yards. But he was fine in week 1. 9 targets, 6 for 61 and a touchdown. So I think he'll be fine again this week. For the Chargers, I actually I need help from my guy Debro since he's the matchup specialist here. Debro, who do you think Riley Moss is lined up against for most of the game? Because that's the matchup I want. Is it Keenan Allen?
I think it's probably gonna be Keenan. Yeah, Keenan was my pick here because I think Surtain is gonna follow QJ. Looking at how the Chargers attack single high and man coverage. So yeah, Keenan's my pick, man.
Is on the Broncos side though, D-Bro?
Yeah, I mean, so I'll flesh that out a little bit more. Like Keenan, I think he's gonna have a better game than people are gonna give him. Like, first of all, like, can we also say like there's some disrespect in ECR and stuff? Like this dude is the wide receiver 12 in fantasy points per game. I'm not saying that he should be ranked as a wide receiver 1, but in the wide receiver 3 territory is kind of dismissive.
Yeah, he's got 3 more targets than the lad right now.
I know, and so I mean, like, and he's going to keep getting the volume. So I mean, he's the guy. If it's not QJ versus, because the two staples of the Denver defense are single high coverage and man coverage. You're going to get both of those at least 45% of the day. If it's not, the ball's not going to QJ versus both of those coverage structures, it's going to Keenan Allen. He is the number 2 option in the passing attack against single high and man coverage. And people could be surprised by that, but it's a fact. So I think Keenan Allen's going to have a really strong day. The other guy on the other side I'm going to pick here is Troy Franklin. And I'm willing to say here that could we get the rug pull from Sean Payton where we've seen this before? We've lived this reality before where we thought Troy Franklin was a full-time player. We lived in that reality last year, week 6 through 7. He played 65 and 50% of the snaps. And then for the rest of the season, he didn't sniff higher than a 46% snap rate for the rest of the season. So could we get the rug pull? Fine, that could happen. But we also need to talk about this year's a little bit different for Troy Franklin in that out the gate, he played 59% of the snaps in week 1, 82% of the snaps in week 2. You look at the coverage structure for the Bolts, too high heavy. And so far this year, Troy Franklin has eaten too high alive. Like he's got a 22% target share and a 30% first read share. I actually think this could be a down game for Courtland Sutton and another good game for Troy Franklin. But it's tough because we just don't know if the usage is going to like maintain with Sean Payton. Because we only got 2 games here.
Fitz, we talked about Franklin a little bit on the Thursday show, but for those who missed it, what do you think about him this week?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a playable, like, flex level option. I mean, so far the snaps and the targets have been there, but like D-Bro said, you always worry about the rug pull and that, you know, all of a sudden Sean Payton decides to play Pat Bryant 80% of the snaps this week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go to Saints at Seahawks. Ken Walker had fewer carries than Zach Charbonnet for the second straight week, but unlike in week 1, in week 2, he way outperformed Charbonnet. Predict what the backfield workload will look like for both players here in week 3, D-Bro.
I mean, as of recording this right now, I don't even know if Charbonnet plays. He's dealing with a foot injury. He didn't practice on Wednesday or Thursday, so this could be Ken Walker wheels up. Like he could get the 60% snap rate. Like I think they're gonna work in another running back here. I don't think it's gonna be Ken Walker 80 to 90% of the snaps. I think Seattle is being very deliberate about how they're ramping him up, how they're using him. But dude, we've gotten Ken Walker that I thought we were gonna get Ken Walker this year in the sense that like right now amongst 35 qualifying backs, he is top 15 in yards after contact per attempt, explosive run rate, missed tackles forced. He's actually top 7 in 2 of those metrics. So this could be just a monster game for Ken Walker.
So I told you I put together this sheet a little earlier in the week. At the time, the Are They Playing tool on Fantasy Pros had a higher odds for Charbonnet. That has gone down with the new information of, not practicing, throughout the week. That's down to a 15% chance to play. So that's a good correction by you that it probably won't be him on the field. We don't know 100% for sure as of recording this, but it certainly has gone further in that direction of him not playing this week. So I'll kind of pivot the question for you, Fitz. Assuming Charbonnet is not on there, what kind of game are you expecting out of Walker?
A good one. Yeah, he has looked fantastic. Boy, the second half of that game against the Steelers, I mean, he just looked absolutely electric. So right now, I have Kenneth Walker ranked 16th, and that's with the expectation that Charbonnet plays. If he's, I think I'll probably move him up to 12 if Charbonnet is out.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got Josh Jacobs at 10, and I had Devon Achane at 11, and he's already played. So I would probably slot in Walker right behind Achane, ahead of Chase Brown.
I'm moving him up right now, just assuming Charbonnet is going to be out. I have him at RB13 right now.
Yeah, if Charbonnet is 100% out, I'm like looking at the expert consensus rankings. I would definitely have him ahead of Chase Brown.
People did not want to play Kenneth Walker after week 1, and now he's going to be ranked as an RB1 potentially.
So if you went and traded for him after people freaked out in week 1, congrats.
Just like I don't think people should be freaked out about Charbonnet after the bad game in week 2. Like when he comes back, it's still going to be like a 55-45 split in this backfield.
Yeah, he's still going to stay involved. I think Ken Walker could take over the snap lead, but I agree.
Yeah.
Charbonnet is probably still going to have a role.
I think Walker needs to be inside the top 10 if Charbonnet's out, honestly. That's I would expect a huge game out of him in that scenario. All right, let's go to the next game here. Cowboys at Bears. Rome Odunze had by far the best game of his young career last week. Was that the breakout we've been waiting for, Fitz? And is it something that we can expect to continue against a bad Dallas defense?
I wouldn't be surprised if it continued. Like, the setup is great this week. A high Vegas total, 49.5 last I checked. No Deron Bland for the Cowboys, their best cornerback. And the Bears secondary is really injury-riddled too. So, the Bears are probably going to have to throw to keep up in this game. We're going to see points in Chicago on Sunday. I'm pretty convinced of that. But right now, Rome Odunze is out targeting DJ Moore by about a 2-1 margin. Like, it's possible Odunze has more targets than DJ Moore this year, but I don't think it's going to be by a 2-1 margin all season. That's the reason I'm hesitating a little bit on Odunze. And I've got him ranked pretty far below consensus. I've got him ranked, as a pretty much unquestioned starter, but I think everyone wants to make Rome Odunze a made man right now, and I'm not quite there yet.
You're not saying he gets Joe Pesci, are you?
I hope not.
He walks into the office like, no!
By the way, speaking of that, so it was just the anniversry, like the 35th anniversary of the Goodfellas release.
Yeah.
I was just reading something really interesting about the casting. For the role of Tommy, the two actors originally considered were John Malkovich and William Peterson. Joe Pesci was penciled in as Paulie, the Paul Sorvino role. But then when Malkovich and Peterson turned down the role, Pesci begged Martin Scorsese to play Tommy, and Scorsese relented and let him.
Wow.
Oh, dude, that's so
I know. Can
cool.
because you just can't imagine anyone other than Joe Pesci in the
can't
Tommy
imagine
role.
Anybody
Like, it's impossible.
but him, but Tommy.
I love those like sliding doors moments where it's like it wasn't supposed to be this way and then it does, and now it's like, did you ever look for anybody else besides this person that ended up in the role? It's too perfect for them.
As soon as you said made man, that's exactly where my head went. I was like,
on Rome. So Fitz, when we talked yesterday, I was surprised. You had him down at wide receiver 26 in your rankings for the week. He's wide receiver, I think it's 14 in ECR. Yeah, it's wide receiver 14 in ECR. So that's like well below consensus. It looks like you've moved him up a little up to wide receiver 22, but you are still well below consensus.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, agree it's a great spot for him, but I don't know if we can count on him to like be the huge alpha target earner every week, because like DJ Moore is good. And I know the chemistry with DJ Moore and Caleb Williams has been off since last year. And like the body language was bad for DJ Moore. Like something is not right there. But DJ Moore is still really good. Like, would it shock anyone if he had the better day than Rome Odunze this week? So
it wouldn't like
it shouldn't.
My jaw wouldn't be on the floor if that happened. I will just say, and obviously, Debra, I want to hear what you have to think. I feel like for me, I'm just like, I loved Rome Odunze, the prospect. Like, he's young, so I'm expecting him to take a step forward this year. Mm-hmm. It's a great matchup just in terms of, like, it's going to be high scoring and it's against a poor defense. So I'm just like, I don't want to overthink. I'm not saying that he needs to be as high as wide receiver 14. I do think that's like maybe a little high. But like I do think he should be inside the top 20. Like coming off the game he just had against a bad defense as a good player, I want to buy in that this is real, and I would rather buy in that it's real and be sadly mistaken than skeptical and miss out on another big week, I guess is my approach to it. Debra, what do you think?
So I have Rome slightly below consensus at wide receiver 18. I still do have him as a top 24 guy. I will, just for full transparency, boys, when I opened up the Betting Pros app this week, the first 2 bets I made were the overs for DJ Moore at Hard Rock Bet. I bet over 4.5 receptions minus 110. Right now you can still get an over 54.5 receiving yards at minus 115. I think this is going to be a huge day for DJ Moore. If you look at the coverage stuff for DJ Moore, this screams DJ Moore week, man. Like, overall, he's had only a 16% target share and a 19% first read share. Not good. You look at what Dallas does, and with Eberflus calling defensive plays, 64% of the defensive snaps have been again with too high coverage. DJ Moore this year against too high, 27% target share, 3.3 yards per route run, and his first read share has skyrocketed to 36%.
Wow.
I think he's going to crush this week, dude. Like, I've got DJ Moore as a top 24 wide receiver. I bet his overs. I'm going to I just, if you can ladder bet him, please do this week and enjoy it, because like Fitz talked about, this game environment, one of the few totals that we have outside of this and like Detroit, Baltimore, that's going to over 50 points. And both of these defenses are banged up. They're giving up production. We just saw what Russell Wilson did. I'm not the biggest believer in Caleb Williams, but good Lord, this is such a good spot. This is going to be a firework-filled game, and I'm all in for DJ Moore.
DJ Moore is wide receiver 29 in ECR, so
Bump him up.
telling you that's way too
low.
low.
Yeah, just bump him up in the ranks, please.
Last game in the late slate on Sunday, Cardinals at 49ers. Ricky Pearsall and Juwan Jennings are both ranked as back-end wide receiver 3s this week in the expert consensus rankings. Fitz, who do you expect to have a bigger week 3?
I'll say Pearsall just because Jennings is dealing with an ankle injury. But I generally do like Pearsall a little more, and will probably have him ranked higher most weeks.
Debra?
If Jennings is a full go and he can operate like normal, I'm going to take Jennings here. Just I thought it was not like overly concerning, but like with Jennings' first game back, like he reassumed basically the role he had last year. Like the dude had a 23% target share and a 30% first read share. I'm like, the way that it looks like they're using Pearsall is kind of like in this mishmash, kind of like Brandon Ayuk-ish type of role where they like want to use him down the field and stuff. So like, taking health out of it and saying Jennings it can go and be like his normal self, which I know is it's a lot of ifs there. I'll take Jennings, but if he's banged up, then I'll go Pearsall. But I think all things in a vacuum, I'll take Jennings.
In this same game, Marvin Harrison Jr. is ranked several spots higher than both Jennings and Pearsall in ECR. Does that feel right to you that there's a wide gap there? I mean, it's so far been another inconsistent start to a season for Harrison. Debra, do you think there should be a wide gap between Harrison's ranking and Jennings and Pearsall's?
I don't know why. Like what copium, or is everybody continuing to guzzle with Marvin Harrison Jr.? Like I can't get there, man. Like it's Kyler, it's this offense, it's the other part about this. Like we are getting more of the horizontal breaking routes from Marv, and like he's not doing much, man. Like, if anything, like we've seen Trey McBride is the clear alpha wide receiver 1 in that offense. Like, I feel like we're just still living all off of like everybody's just huffing all the hope fumes for Marvin Harrison Jr.
The only thing I'll say in Harrison's defense is that it's been low passing volume for the Cardinals right now, because they've led in like 80% of their first 2 games. They had that win over the Saints where they just kind of kept the Saints at arm's length in week 1, and then they had the big lead over the Panthers in week 2, where they were just trying futilely to kill clock and couldn't do it, and kept giving the Panthers the ball back. So Bryce Young wound up throwing like 55 passes or whatever. But it's just, 38 pass attempts right now for Kyler. So with more passing volume, maybe things start to look a little bit better.
I mean, I don't disagree with you, Fitz, but the other thing about it, if I take the name out of it, take Marv's name out of it, tell me if these numbers scream must start wide receiver 2. So far, this player has an 18.5% target share, 1.6 yards per route run, and a 22% first read share.
You're right. I mean, fundamentally...
is that wide receiver 3 type of like numbers?
No.
And not wide receiver 2?
Fundamentally, nothing really different so far with Marvin Harrison.
Yeah,
that is alarming.
It's not great, man. Like, when your top 2 options, like Michael Wilson's not doing anything in his offense. Zay Jones ain't doing anything. Like, why can't he earn more volume?
Chiefs at Giants is Sunday Night Football's matchup. The Chiefs offense D-Bro's kind of broken. Will they get right against the Giants?
I mean, specify get right. Are they going to look better because of the defense? Okay, sure. Are they going to look like they're a good offense and they live up to everything that people want the Chiefs to be? No. So I think they could look better, but that's I mean, you got to quantify it with who they're playing. I don't know what happens better for the Chiefs. Like, Xavier Worthy's probably not a full-time snap player. Like, Hollywood is still Hollywood. Tyquan, we know who he is. Like, sure, maybe he can beat one of these corners like deep down the field because of his speed, but like,
yeah. And then Mahomes,
do we
can
feel
overthrow
any
him.
better about Pacheco and Kareem Hunt, who get 3 yards in a cloud of nothing? Like, there's just, where's the explosive element? Like, where I don't know, man. Like, I find myself more. This is not a get right game for KC. This is maybe a look better game, but get right, I don't know when that happens.
On Hard Rock Bet, it's Chiefs -6. I kind of like Giants plus the money.
Dude, I don't know. I think the Giants are live to win this game.
I think
Maybe
they
I'm
are
crazy,
too. I mean,
but
we've seen like when the Chiefs offense is, running hot and doing well, that one of the keys to stopping them when they are, playing at a high level is being able to rush the passer. And like, that's the one thing you would expect the Giants to be able to do.
Like, what is their offense doing well right now, though? Like,
Patrick Mahomes
they're not passing
scrambling.
really well.
That's it.
Yeah,
like that. He's running for his life. He is the rushing offense. They can't run the ball outside of Patrick Mahomes. They can't pass the ball consistently, whether it's short or deep. What are the Chiefs actually doing consistently well on offense? Like, that's somebody got to tell me
I
that.
like Giants
I don't
plus
see
6 a lot. I mean, even if not, even setting aside like, oh, the Giants have a good pass rush and that's something that's frustrated Mahomes in the past. I'm like, I just don't see taking the Chiefs -6 against anybody right now. I don't know what they're doing that makes you think they're going to blow a team out, even a team that we don't think is good in the Giants, but who is coming off a really high scoring game.
Yeah.
So
and Worm, I thought their offensive line was going to be better, but like I guess Josh Simmons has not yet solved the left tackle problem for them, and like the running game, man. If the Kansas City running game can't get it done against the Giants, who ranked dead last in DVOA against the run, and gave up more than 8 yards per carry to Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt in week 1, and gave up 97 yards and a touchdown to Javonte Williams last week. Like, if Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt can't do anything against this run defense, like, that's a terrible sign. And like, hopefully the passing game looks a little bit better with Xavier Worthy at least giving them some snaps this week, we think. But man, like, I'm kind of skeptical.
D-Bro, would you rather bet
please.
Giants +6 or +240 on the money line on Hard Rock Bet?
I'll take Giants money line. Maybe I'm crazy, but I'll take the money line.
I don't think you're crazy.
Dude, one last thing about the Chiefs. Please, Andy Reid, give some more snaps to Brashard Smith. Like, Pacheco ain't got it. Kareem Hunt ain't got it. You need something of an explosive element. Like, maybe Brashard Smith isn't that dude, but you got to find out, because both these other guys aren't it, man.
The only reason I don't like that, I'd rather take the plus points for the Giants rather than the money line, is because it's really hard to imagine the Chiefs being 0-3. And so I do feel like they will win this.
When they're 0-2 and they look terrible
but
right
it's,
now?
I mean, just think about the Chiefs, like, and it is still Mahomes and Andy Reid, like, and it is a bad team they're facing. Like, it's just hard to imagine. But I don't think this is gonna be a blowout. Like, I think this is gonna be a close game. I think 6 points is too many.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Let's go to Monday Night Football, a much more exciting game than Sunday Night Football this week. Lions at Ravens. These two teams combined for 93 points scored in week 2. They are the first and third highest scoring teams on the season, respectively. Hard Rock Bet has the total at 52.5, which is the highest of the week. Is it going over or under? And then also, you guys know I like to ask in these games where it's like bonanza, lots of offense, we're really excited, scoring right and left. Pick one player to fade, and obviously a player who you would be considering starting, not just like the 4th string tight end or something, but one player to fade in this game. And also, is it going over or under 52.5? D-Bro, what do you got?
I'll take the over, only because the Lions offense looks like they're back. Like, the Ravens still seem like they're struggling a little bit. I don't know if Nate Wiggins plays this game, so that's going to impact Baltimore. Their pass rush hasn't been amazing to this point. So I think you can put up points. And quietly, I think the Lions could run the ball on the Ravens. Just looking at the matchups here. So I'll take the over, although the total is sky high. And I'll grab the low-hanging fruit here. It's Mark Andrews, man. Like, I don't understand why Baltimore's not utilizing him, but they're not. And the Lions have defended tight ends pretty well. Like, they've given up the 11th fewest fantasy points per game to tight ends. So if I'm fading one of the Baltimore Ravens this week, it's Mark Andrews. But I think there's going to be a lot of scoring in this game.
I think this game is going to be played in the 60s. Like, I don't care that it's a high total. I think it's easily over.
I can't push back against you.
Fitz, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm not betting it, but I'll say it goes over. We get the track meet we deserve. And if I have to fade anyone, maybe I'll gently fade Derrick Henry. And I think I've cursed Derrick Henry, Worm. I'm sorry, but like, I've never had Derrick Henry in any league. I drafted him in one league, but it's a league where we draft the day before the first Sunday of the NFL season. There have been 2 games played already, so we don't start our season until week 2. And of course, Derrick Henry had that spectacular week 1 game against the Bills, and I didn't get any of that. And I get him for his dud game against the Cleveland Browns last week.
Brutal.
I'm worried he has another dud game against a really good Detroit run defense this week. So, for your sake, Worm, let's hope that I am not cursing Derrick Henry by investing in him.
I only asked you guys about the total, but what do you think about, the game itself? It's Lions plus 4.5. Do you like the Ravens side or the Lions, either of you?
I don't bet against the Ravens at home.
At home in prime time, Lamar is like pretty.
Yeah.
They're wearing the all black uniforms too. That's worth another point or two.
It's the regular season, right?
Yes.
It's the regular season. Okay. That's all I need to say here. That's all I need to say.
Little subtle shade there.
I mean,
I'm just asking. Fitzy, I'm just asking a question. Okay, just asking a question. Okay.
Lamar in the postseason in the last 5 years.
Worm can't fight me on this. Like, what
I can fight you on this.
Like,
no, it's
Lamar's look great. Monk's called good games in the playoffs
when he was with Greg Roman and was 22 years old against him.
Yeah, because
he has been totally fine in the playoffs.
Really good last year in the playoffs and the year before.
I believe what Debro is saying is get your shine box, Worm.
He has been totally fine in the playoffs the last 2 years. He lost to the Chiefs and the Bills. Those are great teams. It's not like, early on in his career, they lost to the 6-seeded Titans, but he was 21 years old.
I'm just a guy asking questions, Worm.
Unfair, pointed questions, I would say.
This is key questions, right? Like, that's what this episode is, right?
Regardless of what happens this week, I will make next week's key question in the Ravens game just a deep dive on my setup for the question will be a deep dive on why the playoff narrative is bogus for Lamar.
So we're gonna have 30 minutes on the Ravens, and then we got 30 minutes for the other 15 games.
Exactly.
Okay.
Cool. All right, we'll wrap things up there. Really excited for that one. I mean, that's gonna be a super fun game Monday Night Football. I feel like it's kind of a less exciting week. I don't know if you guys feel the same. There's like not a lot of matchups that I'm overly pumped about, so it's
I love this slate.
See, I'm kind of iffy on this slate, but I think obviously it ends really well with Lions Ravens is going to be a super fun one. So we'll wrap things up there. For Debro and Fitz, I'm Ryan Wormeli. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Good luck in week 3 with all your lineup decisions. If you have any more questions, hit us up on Discord, social media, all those good places. We'll see you next time.